Hey guys, it's Lisa and welcome to my channel. Today we're going to make over some items for more of a cottage decor. And we're going to start with these little metal wall hangings. I was able to thrift these at a very good price, and so I thought they would be worth trying to turn into something that was updated to today's decor. So I'm starting with the color sea glass. I've already cleaned these. And I am mixing some baking soda in with my paint. I want some texture, but I don't quite want half and half. That would be a little more texture than I want. So I guess maybe about 1/3 of this was baking soda. And then actually got it too thick here and added a little more paint because Again, I just didn't want a whole lot of texture, but I wanted enough so that when I add some white wax in the end, that's what I'm going to be doing to these, it would not only hang out in all the detail and make that pop, but it would change up the color of the paint some. I wanted it to soften this even more. And so anytime you've got some texture, that just gives that white wax more places to kind of hang out, and it will change up the color and soften it much more. So that was the idea here. Now I did do 2 coats, even though I put this on pretty heavy. And I had to be real careful where the flowers are, that I didn't get too much, that I made sure to pounce enough of that off that it didn't take away from that detail. But I gave these 2 coats and let them dry well. And then I added some white wax. Now the video that step was in, I don't know what happened. I couldn't get it to upload. I don't know if maybe I did it in a different mode or something, but my phone just wouldn't let me upload it into my editing app. So I did go over this with some white wax, and then I cleaned off the sides really well, especially at the top, because I want to hang these with this ribbon. And I just felt like that would kind of soften it up some more and update it for more of a cottage decor. And so I tied a knot in each end. I just made my ribbon as long as I felt like it needed to be. And then I tied a knot in each end, and I'm going to glue that to the top of each side corner, if that makes sense. And what I do, because I want to make sure that it holds, and these are lightweight, but I don't think that hot glue alone would hold it, especially since I've used this white wax. So what I did was I put some E6000 on both sides, and then I put a dab of hot glue to hold it in place until it dried. And then I feel like it was pretty secure. And I think it changed these up a lot. I don't know for sure they'll sell, but I thought I would try them since I was able to get them at such a good price. Now the next item that I'm going to make over is a metal charger. And I know that these are very outdated. I don't like the look of this one at all, besides which it is very limited to 50th anniversary. And it had some damage in the paint. It just wasn't a good look at all. So this one is going to be this color also, the same color sea glass, and this is a Dixie Belle color. I'm going ahead and I thinned this down just a little bit, but I'm going to go ahead and add some texture to this one also. So I gave this 2 coats, front and back, of the color sea glass, and then I went over this one with some white wax. But before I added the white wax on this one, I want to add another piece to this. And this is the piece that I want to add. Now this is an iron candle holder. I guess this would be considered maybe a wall sconce, or I don't know. It's a candle holder. And I started out by using the color sawmill gravy on this. I thought these would be the colors that I wanted to use. And then I quickly decided that I didn't like the way this looked with the blue. and I didn't like it being a different color than the charger itself. So I ended up painting this one blue also. But before I did that, what I did was I took a drill bit or a drill with a drill bit in it, and I drilled some holes and attached this to the charger. And because the charger was so thin, I didn't get to film this one either. Well, I filmed it, but it was on that same video that I couldn't get to upload. So what I did with this is, because the charger was so thin, I put a little piece of plywood on the back and added a hanger to that. And I didn't get to show that because, again, I couldn't get that to upload. But that's how I got this to stay on, and that's how I added a hanger. Again, I liked it much better with it being a solid color. So then I'll white wax all this when I'm finished. But first I wanted to add some stenciling on this. So I added some of this French stenciling to both the top and the bottom. And I just had to kind of maneuver this because of the shape of this plate, and also that sconce being in the way. So, but I like the look that I got when I added this script or this stencil. And then here I am adding the white wax to finish it up. Now, I like the look of this much better, but I still want to add to this because not many people use the long, slender candles. So I decided to make a couple of little teacup arrangements and glue those to the top. Now, I had these little cups, and that's when I decided that my color to go with this blue would be the buttercream, because that's almost exactly the color that these little teacups are. But now I'm just making an arrangement in each one, and I add a little glue to the bottom to kind of hold it in place. But then, and it can be removed easily. I didn't add much, I just didn't want it moving around. So I'm just going to make a couple of arrangements here, and then I'll glue that to my plate, or I'll glue that to my candle holder. And now I'm just going to add little sprigs here and there with hot glue until I get a little bit of texture added to the top and a little bit more height. So one of these will just have some eggs in it and some floral behind it, and then the other one will just have the bird. Now I'm going to show a hang tag. I have one to show today, but it is absolutely gorgeous. So I can't wait to show that. And that same viewer also does book art. And she sent me a book, and my sister a book. And you just won't believe what she did with it. So I'm going to show those at the end of the video. And I want to thank you guys for going and supporting my friend Myra's channel. She has just been overwhelmed with gratitude for you guys going and giving her a chance. I know that many of you are already happy with her content, and if you haven't been there, you should definitely check it out, because I'm learning things from her also. And if you haven't checked out the video where she is doing remaking some switch plate covers, you should definitely check that out, because it would make an awesome Mother's Day gift. And I'll go ahead and link her channel again in my description for those of you who didn't get to go check her out. And I asked her permission to steal her idea with those switch plate covers, because I think that they would take very little time, and the end result is just beautiful, and I think they would make really good gifts. And with Mother's Day coming up, I want to hurry and get some made to put in my shop. Now my only concern with this one is that the glue sticks well, and so I'm letting it dry overnight. Actually, I'll end up letting this dry over the weekend, but I don't think I'll have any problem with it sticking. And what I did before I glued these on is make sure I clean the top of those little candle holders well, and clean the bottom of this cup well with alcohol before I glued this on, and I really think it's going to hold well. I absolutely love E6000. It holds so well, but I do wish that there was a way to have a different design of applicator, because it's really hard sometimes to push that in, and then you end up actually have even made a hole in my tube trying to get it out. So I wish there were a better design, but I'm sure they would have done it if they could think of a better way. So I guess it is what it is, but I do love the glue. And now this one is probably going to be the simplest makeover I've ever done. And this is one that I had done before, but it didn't sell. It has a clay mold on it. All I'm going to do for this is just paint it in the color buttercream. I just painted it 2 coats of that and then put a clear finish on it. And then I'll just put some of those lavender flowers in it and put it, use one of the saucers that goes with those cups and put it on a candlestick. And that's all that I'm doing to this one. So the next item is going to be this lantern, and I like the shape of it a lot. I don't like the color, and I don't want the glass in it because I'm going to kind of use this as a cloche instead of a candle holder. So I took all the glass out. They have just little metal tabs that are easy to bend and take the glass out. So I just took it all out. I thought about putting it back in, but I decided I didn't want it in at all. I would have loved to have been able to get those that crisscross design off, but it was welded too firmly on, and there was just no way to get all those off. So I decided to leave them in, but I wanted this to brighten this up. So I'm painting this in the color buttercream. I painted 2 coats of the color buttercream inside and out. And then once I got that covered well and let that dry, then I just took a damp cloth and distressed it with that damp cloth. And actually wanted quite a bit of distressing on this, and I think the combination of the buttercream paint, lightening this up, and the distressing on it really updated this, and I like the look that it had. And then I finished it off with a clear coat, and because of all this, all the detail, I just took it outside and sprayed it with a clear matte finish. I think I used Rust-Oleum on this. So now, instead of using this for a candle, I'm going to put some spring decor in it. And I just thought the easiest thing to do would be put a nest in it. So I had a very smart viewer tell me that when I'm making my nest, to put some glue in the Spanish moss. And then that will hold the shape of your nest. So I'm just kind of working that glue in. I put quite a bit in there, as you can see. And I'm just kind of working that in until I don't see any white. And then I'm shaping it in the shape of a nest. And I used a small bowl to do that with, so that I could let it dry in that bowl, and then it would hold its shape much better. And that worked out well. I feel like it works better if you have a smaller, deeper bowl rather than a larger, shallow bowl. But that's just me. Obviously, I had to be really careful, but I used a heat gun to dry this quicker, and it dried very quickly. And then once it was dry, it was very solid. So that's definitely a tip that I've used ever since she told me. Now I decided I wanted some floral foam down in the bottom of this, so I just had to kind of rip that bottom apart some and stick it way down in there, and then I'll put some more moss over the top of that to hide the foam. But that way I can put some floral in here and be able to create some height in the back. Because all that I'm putting in here is some larger eggs, and because of that, there's going to be a lot of empty space at the top of it. So I wanted a backdrop of some floral and some greenery just to fill in that space. Now I'm going to put some lavender in here also because I want to add a little bit of color to this vignette. So, and I think the lavender goes really well with the sea glass. So a lot of times when I'm using the sea glass and I need to add some floral, I choose to add the lavender. And Walmart has the prettiest lavender, and I think it's a really good price. I've struggled to find floral at a good price lately. And if it doesn't look realistic, I just don't even want to bother with it. And sometimes the Dollar Tree will have floral, that the floral part of it looks pretty good. But then the greenery just makes it look really cheap. And in that case, I go ahead and get it and just don't use the greenery. But these are just some foam eggs that I have painted and just kind of splash some watered down brown paint on for the little spots. But now I'm going to make a hang tag to go with this one. I thought about using this napkin and decided against using it, but I'm using a piece of, this is actually an index card that I coffee stained and then folded in half. What I want to do with this one is create somewhat of a pocket. So, but I want to see behind the pocket, and that's why I am adding just a book page to the inside of it, so that when I tear the front side, as you'll see that I'll do, you'll be able to see some of that book page. And then I'm going to put some floral on that and kind of make it look like floral is stuck down in that pocket. And as you can see here, I'm kind of placing it so that I know, for one thing, where I want to add my floral. And I'm putting a couple of layers of lace behind it just to kind of bring it forward and give it some more dimension. Give it more of a 3D look, I guess. So I'll add a couple of laces and then I'll just glue this down. But then when I close that up, I want to tear it where the blooms will be above where I've torn it, if that makes sense. And then I do decide to use a couple of sprigs of that lavender just to add some more texture and dimension to this. Now I could cut this here, but I don't want that look. I want the torn look, and then I'll antique on that torn look, and it will just add to the look that I'm going for. And then I'll just take some glue, and you could use any glue here. I'm already using my hot glue, so I'm just going to hot glue around the edges and make this into a little pocket. So I want to dress that pocket up just a little bit on the front, so I just stamped some roses on that. And this is just a little stamp that I got while thrifting one day, so I don't know where you can find this one, but just any little stamp. I just didn't want that to be plain, and then I add some script to the back to keep the back from being plain. And then I decided I wanted to add some lace to the bottom because I want to bring the purple from the flowers down to the bottom. I just felt like that straight look was just a little too plain for what was going on in the top, so I just glued some lace there. And I think I layered another lace on top of that as well. And then I'm just going to use this same lace that I'm using here to string the top of it. So I just took my hole punch and made a hole and used this to string it. Now I'm so excited to show today's hang tag, and I'm glad that I only have one because this one takes a lot to show it. It's just so beautiful. Look at all the detail that she added to this. Now, I suspect that the lady who made this, her name is Teresa Setters. I suspect that she's into junk journaling, because you don't just pick this up really quickly. You have to learn all these little techniques, and these little plastic pieces that she's added scripture to. I don't even know how she made that. I would love to know. But this is just absolutely gorgeous. Look at all the detail. I mean, there's no way that I could put this on an item and sell it. I just couldn't part with this. And she even put a pocket there in the top with yet another hang tag. And I love the scripture on the cloth. And look at all the detail, even on the back of her tags. This is absolutely incredible. And I just feel like I can't say enough about this hang tag. And there's another pocket on the front with this little piece. And it's just, the detail just goes on and on with this one. I know this one took some time to make, and I'm so appreciative that she sent it to me. And I also had to show what else she made me. She actually made this one for me and another one for my sister. I'll show a picture of it in the end. I didn't get it on video. But look at the detail in this. Now, I've seen or heard of these books done. I've seen them on Pinterest, but I have never seen them in person. And I can't imagine the time that must have went into folding these pages just the right way. I can't imagine how you can do it. That's something that I just never have felt like I could do. But Teresa, I am so very grateful for all this. This is just absolutely gorgeous. And this one will be displayed at my shop. I wish I had filmed it at the shop, but I actually just went by the shop and grabbed it today because I wanted to get it in this video, and my lighting in my dining area is just not very good. But even the detail on the book cover, this is just absolutely gorgeous. Thank you so much. And although I didn't videotape the next one, I do have a picture of it, and this one is just equally amazing. It's just, I know that you can see Jesus' face and the cross with this crown of thorns, and it's just, there's so much detail. I can't even imagine how she made this happen. And I know I usually just show the hang tags, but I just couldn't go without showing that. And I'm so grateful for each and every one of you who have sent in hang tags with all the incredible talent. You guys are so awesome, and so awesome to take the time to send those. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope to see you in the next. Thank you so much for watching. Have a great evening, and God bless you and your family.